I play some other sports, but I like soccer more than everything else.
You know, from the time he could walk, he was out there kicking the ball around. He'd go and watch his big brother play, and of course, like any younger brother, you know, that's what he was programmed to do next. And so he started practicing with his brother, and when it became clear to us that he could fend for himself, we let him join the team. They were happy to have him, and he was actually quite a talented little player. We actually didn't find out ahead of his birth that Nicolai would be born with one leg. Initially, we were worried that there'd be a lot of things that he could not do, but at some point we realized those were really our own limitations in the way we thought about things. As we saw Nicolai grow up, it became very clear that his attitude was, I can do anything I want to, just let me figure out my own way of doing it. A good case in point is we, as a small child, fitted him with a prosthetic limb, thinking that would be the right thing to do. And in fact, while he was able to master it, he really sort of came to life when we got him his crutches, and then he just took off. In fact, we called them his wings because he could just fly with them.
Well, the Kilimanjaro trip started with the coming-of-age idea that my dad had, and it's basically when we turn 13, we get to choose anywhere in the world we want to go. So I chose Kilimanjaro.
Nicolai first suggested that we think about doing a charity in concert with the coming-of-age adventure that we were planning after he had seen a movie called Emmanuel's Gift, in which he heard the story about Emmanuel Afosa, and he was inspired by that act of charity where Emmanuel rode his bike across Ghana to raise awareness for people there with disabilities.
My experience and Nicolai's experience is kind of two guys from two different worlds bringing the same idea together.
I was inspired by Emmanuel because he also didn't let his disability get in the way of what he wanted to do.
He decided to adopt his chosen charity, the Free Wheelchair Mission, and mentioned that to my wife, Janine. She contacted the folks there and started what has been a very great partnership with that organization.
The Free Wheelchair Mission is an organization that purchases wheelchairs for $48.35. They just take a lawn chair, reinforce it with metal tubes, and put mountain bike tires on it, and it's mobility for that much money. Right about now, I've raised 2,200 wheelchairs and 110 grand. And I'm more than satisfied with that because I've quadrupled my goal of $25,000.
It's amazing how he's trying to change life. It's so wonderful, like such a young guy, and I know that he's from a land of opportunity, and there's so many kids like him trying to do something like that for the others or to change so many lives like how he's trying to do.
We took a little bit of R&R after we descended the mountain and went to Zanzibar. And Nicolai told me the one thing he wanted to do was to find a soccer game. And it took us about 5 minutes to find 40 kids playing soccer. And of course, they didn't speak any English and we didn't speak any Swahili. And so he decided to just march right up to these kids and point to the ball and point to his foot. And 5 minutes later, he was part of the gang playing soccer. So here's a sport that transcends language, transcends differences in ability, in culture, where my child was embraced by this group of children playing soccer, and after 5 minutes, you couldn't tear him away from the game.